Hello viewers, today I'm going to make a French style mortise gauge. Mortise gauge is like a marking gauge but it has two pins instead of one. Generally, one of the pins is adjustable so that we can adjust it with the width of the mortise chisel. This is a French style marking gauge with one pin. Today, I'm going to make a fixed pin mortise gauge for my 8mm or 5/16 chisel. It will have two fixed pins 8mm apart. I'll start with this 2-inch or 50mm beechwood stock for the head. This is an offcut I got while making this marking gauge. I already prepared this stem, which is 19mm wide. I begin with the headstock. And I have not planed the end grains as I am going to shape it later. I measure 3 inches from the top, which will be the length of this head. Then I mark a pencil line with the help of a tri-square. Then I measure 19mm or 3/4 inches from the bottom for the mortise of the stem. I place my 19mm chisel to mark the other point. I square the lines across and transfer it to the other side. I eyeballed the center and placed my 19mm chisel and mark both sides of the chisel. With the help of my marking gauge, I mark a line on the point and transfer it to the other side. I confirm with my chisel. Once I am confirmed, I mark the mortise with knife. This will be the mortise for my stem. Next, I need to lay the mortise for the wedge. For this, I mark a line approximately 2 mm overlapping the stem mortise. I want the smaller side of the wedge to be at least 8 mm because this is the smallest chisel that I have. Regarding the angle of the wedge, I use 6 degree and I adjust my bevel gauge to 6 degree and mark a pencil line and also make a small knife mark to transfer it accurately on the other side. Again, for the width of the mortise, I use 8 mm, which I eyeball and mark with my 8 mm chisel. I transfer the mark on both sides with the marking gauge, just like the stem mortise. I use knife to mark the mortise finally. Next step is to chop the stem mortise. I place my chisel between the marking gauge line and start chopping. I move around 2 mm away and chop until I reach near the knife mark on the other side. I clear all debris and chop once again to go a little deeper than the previous cut. Once I am 4 to 5 mm deep, I move closer to the knife mark, yet away from it. And then finally, on the knife mark. This way I do not move my knife mark. I perform the same operation on the other side. Now my attention is to go deeper, at least half the depth. Then I start chopping from the other side until it meets the mortise on the other side. The mortise for the stem is ready now. In order to chop the mortise for the wedge, I need to support it from inside to avoid any tear out. For this, I prepared this stem out of pine to support from inside. For this mortise, I use my drill machine with a 6 mm bit and drill halfway while trying to follow the angle. Then I drill from the other side until it meets the hole in the middle. Now I need to square this hole with my 8 mm chisel. I used a screwdriver to remove the waste as I do not have any smaller chisel. The stem is a little oversized, so I had to take few shavings and remove all the corners to fit in the mortise. It is little tight in some places, but it is fine as it will loosen with use. To make the wedge, I roughly took the angle from my bevel gauge and sawed it. I used a chisel to further shape it. was not happy with this wedge, so I made another one with oak. This wedge is working fine. I need to cut the excess and shape it. I refined the wedge by sanding with 220 grit. Also remove any sharp corner or edges. Next job is to shape the headstock. I draw a circular shape with my oil can and remove most of the material with chisel. Then I wrapped 80 grit sandpaper in a block of wood and sanded like a rasp until I got the shape. I smoothened the surface with 220 grit sandpaper. Once the top of the headstock is shaped, it is time to cut it to the length. I made knife marks all around and created a knife wall with chisel. Using a crosscut saw, I sawed carefully in the knife wall. Next, I need to shape the bottom. For this, I draw a 45-degree line on both sides using my combination square, and I chisel most of the waist. Later, I sand all the surfaces to remove all pencil mark and also remove any sharp corners. I also chamfer the end of my stem. Finally, I need to fix the pin. If you are making a marking gaze, you need only one pin. I will use these small nails. I cut off the head and drill two small holes 8 mm apart. And fix the pin. I test it on a scrap piece if both pins are leveled. After some minor adjustment, I could get the marks on the piece. I sanded the ends of the pin to sharpen it after the hammer hit. In my marking gaze, I applied 2 coats of shellac, but for this, I simply apply some edible oil and let it soak. After around 10 minutes, I wipe off any excess oil. I had to be careful that I apply no oil on the inside part of the wedge. Functioning of this wedge depends on the friction. Finally, my mortise gauge is ready. In my future videos, I will try to change this stem and make an adjustable mortise gauge. Thank you for watching and see you again soon.